Talk to y'all for a minute, man. I turned this podcast rap show to a business. Refugee been hustling for years since
Still bullish on gold.
Today I want to tell y'all about an exciting opportunity that I've kind of came across.
Yo, it's good people. Esteban here, also known as the 70 Minutes Osorio, here with the Hustle the Markets podcast, where we inspire people to hustle through investing, because what's one of the best ways to hustle is through investing. And today I want to kind of give y'all an update in terms of what I have going on. I spoke to y'all about how the fact that I've been focusing on my operating business. So at the time I was focusing on working with T-Force and kind of growing and scaling the delivery business, and it still is to a certain degree. I've sort of shifted my focus from just focusing on the operating business to actually potentially considering the balance sheet as a way to grow out of the rat race. The idea that I came up with, which I made on an Instagram post, if you follow my Instagram, is embrace the multi. You guys can see I'm here in an apartment. This is my close friend's apartment. We don't have to say who it is, but embrace the multi basically means embrace all facets of yourself. I know a lot of people that are in real estate. I know people that are doing their businesses and are focused on one stream of income, and that's what they do, right? And they make money that way and they get ahead quicker. But for me, I wanted to focus on things that I enjoy doing, and it just so happens that I enjoy doing a lot of things at the same time, not just on one thing. And so I realized that while I was focusing on the operating business, there's ways for me to grow. That's kind of where things are. And I want to give y'all an update in terms of since the last time, not the last podcast, but the podcast before that, I was recommending Bitcoin and gold and silver and commodities, oil. I spoke about a few companies that I was bullish on. And I wanted to give y'all some updates on what the hell is going on with a lot of those different picks, because I think some people may have made some purchases based off my recommendations, and I didn't want to just leave y'all hanging. So I did want to kind of give y'all some updates in terms of what the hell is going on. So you guys know I've been very bullish on silver for a long time. And I've been beating this drum since probably 2022. And there's people that have been beating that drum since much longer than I have, okay? Well, silver has been having an incredible run up, which is, I made the post around September 23rd. Silver was at 65. We're already at $85 silver. It's already hit an all-time high. From my understanding, I think these things are going to continue to hedge inflation, if not outperform. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to keep going. I could be wrong, but that seems to be the case. But if you look at gold's performance over the past, since September, we had a huge run up. It went from somewhere around $5,200, $5,300 to now we're close to around $6,000. Earlier podcast that I made that I said, hey, silver, gold, Bitcoin. I'm going to get to Bitcoin because I know probably some people are mad at me about the Bitcoin stuff, but you know, if you guys study this stuff, economics and the inflation and all that stuff, you know, they say nothing's stopping this train. Now there was one pick that I spoke about, Canonical, okay? So this, now it's severely down since we last spoke. I think they actually halted the trading on the stock because it had dipped so much, and I think now they're restructuring the company because it had so much debt. That's one of the biggest risks that it has. Very speculative, very, very speculative, okay? Let's say next year or two to these securities in the oil and gas market, because, you know, I saw there was news coming out of the US and about Trump potentially invading and taking out Maduro. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. I'm not trying to play a political part in this. I'm just seeing what's happening. And so depending on how things go in Colombia politically, and I don't like to try and make bets based off political decisions, because that's a very speculative way of trading, and I don't think that's a good way of doing things. But if you're going to play that game, hey, then you might want to pay attention to this sort of stuff. So depending on how things go, you know, they might get somebody that's more friendly to mining oil and gas and natural resources. And if that's the case, you could see a bullish run up of these sort of securities like the oil and gas market. And like I said, these things are cyclical. Sometimes it takes time. So don't be surprised if this thing goes up at some point. Tesla was another pick that we had mentioned. Tesla's up since we last spoke. First Majestic, another one that's been up since we last spoke. So for the most part, most of my picks have been doing very well. Lululemon I recommended as well on one of the portfolios that I posted on Instagram. It just shot up like 10% over the past couple, I think, days. They reported better than expected earnings. So these are sort of plays that we played technically, but also there were some fundamentals around it. So anything speculative that was based around politics, usually that stuff doesn't usually work too well. But something that's more fundamental, even technical to a certain degree, that's based on something that's solid, probably going to do better. So that's kind of where the picks are up to this point. If you guys want to know where my mind's at, I'm still bullish on gold. I'm still bullish on silver. Bitcoin was one that we spoke about. Okay, so Bitcoin's been taking a shit. It's been taking a dump. Sorry for my wording. Bitcoin's been tanking for the past, I don't know how many days, months actually. September, we were looking at around 161 Canadian. Now it's down 124. We're down significantly. You could call it a correction at this point. But I'm still bullish on Bitcoin long term. You know, I think this is a temporary hiccup. I'm still bullish on the internet money, the energy money, the whole concept behind the decentralization. And not a financial advisor. Just remember, you guys, do your own financial research. Do your own due diligence. Make sure you check out all the things that I'm talking about. But these are just things that I continue to stay bullish on, even though these positions might be down. And these are things that people like to speculate on. People like to put a lot of money into this stuff and try and make flips. It's not the way I would approach it. I would approach it more as holding it, buying it, and buying it a little bit at a time. So that's kind of my suggestion. And I know it's very volatile, and financial advisors will tell you not to buy this shit, but you know, it's up to you and your discretion of whether you want to buy it or not. But the same reasons I'm real bullish on Bitcoin or gold and silver is the same reason I'm bullish on Bitcoin. So that's kind of where I'm at. I appreciate y'all. Wanted to make this quick, didn't want to make this too long. I was in a Cypher Club recently. So I was Cypher Club. Circles, you know what I mean? Balance. Have some balance. You can have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know what I mean? Somebody's gonna put me in a box, put me in a bunch of boxes because I don't like to just stay in one box. You know what I mean? So, and I embrace that, and I just have a much better time living that way. You know, and I was explaining to somebody yesterday, I was like, listen, like this inflation is gonna probably continue to go on. They're gonna continue to print the money. They're gonna continue to debate. So what's gonna be my approach? Am I gonna just get mad at it and get all angry and political? That's one approach. The other approach is profit off of it. I do plan on doing that at some point. And the other approach is just living your life. Like do things you love and enjoy to do, because that's how I want to live my life, and that's how I plan on living my life. And for me to stress about, oh, I got this debt and all the national debt and all this, that, and the other, and all the politics, honestly, like I'm going to be very miserable living that way, and I've done that already. So I'd rather just live my life the way I want to live it, do the things I love doing, and enjoy my life, you know what I mean? And also, you know, if I can help some people along the way, inspire and empower people to hustle along the way, because that's what I love doing, combine my passions with a mission and be useful and, you know, have some fun while I'm doing it, then I'm happy. So I appreciate y'all. Peace.